The sun is gone, the temperature is dropping fast, and there is no light except a small fire you have to keep alive with your own hands. No blanket, no walls that actually seal out the wind, just you, the cold, and the dark. This was not a bad camping trip. For Neanderthals, this was every single night for over 300,000 years. You probably picture them as slow, dumb, barely surviving. That picture is wrong. Neanderthals were built for exactly this world. Their bodies were shorter and thicker than yours, built low to the ground to hold heat in. Their chests were barrel-shaped, built to process huge amounts of oxygen for explosive, short bursts of effort. Their brains, by the way, were slightly larger than yours. This was not a lesser human. This was a different tool, shaped by a harsher blueprint. So why does the idea of one night in their world terrify you? Start with the hunting. Neanderthals did not throw spears from a safe distance, the way later humans often did. Their weapons and their wounds tell the story. Researcher Eric Trinkhaus studied hundreds of Neanderthal skeletons and found something strange. Their injury patterns closely matched a modern group of athletes who take repeated close-range blows, rodeo riders. That is what a Neanderthal hunt looked like. You did not throw a spear at a woolly rhino. You got close enough to stab it, and it fought back. Now picture the scene. It is dusk. The temperature has already dropped 10 degrees since midday. You are crouched behind a boulder with 3 other hunters, all breathing slowly, waiting. A red deer moves into range. There is no shouted signal. There is a shared glance, a silent count, and then a full sprint into an animal that outweighs you. One mistake, and it is your ribs, not the deer's. There is no hospital afterward. There is only the fire, the cave, and whoever in your group happens to know how to set a broken bone. This is why almost every adult Neanderthal skeleton ever found shows some kind of healed fracture. Not 1 or 2 unlucky individuals, nearly all of them. Broken arms, crushed skulls that mended, ribs snapped and reset slightly crooked. Survival here was not a single event. It was a pattern of injury, healing, and going back out to do it again the next week. Here is the twist you probably did not expect. Neanderthals were not just surviving. They were caring for each other in ways that should not have been possible for a primitive species. At Shanidar Cave in Iraq, archaeologists found a Neanderthal skeleton, an older man, missing an arm, blind in one eye, with crushed bones that had healed years before his death. Someone fed him. Someone protected him. Someone let him keep living long after he stopped being useful for the hunt. That is not brute survival. That is society. And yet, all of it collapsed. Around 40,000 years ago, Neanderthals disappeared. Not overnight, and not because they were stupid. The evidence increasingly points to something quieter. A population too small and too scattered to bounce back from a run of bad winters, disease, and competition for the same shrinking herds that modern humans were also hunting. It was not a war they lost. It was a math problem they lost. Think about how thin that margin was. A body built to survive brutal cold. A social structure that carried its wounded. A hunting strategy that worked for hundreds of thousands of years. And still, one long stretch of bad luck was enough to end it. Now think about your own night. You complain when the thermostat drops 2 degrees. You complain when your phone battery drops below 20%. A Neanderthal's entire existence balanced on a fire staying lit, a hunt going right, and a group deciding you were still worth feeding. Every comfort you take for granted tonight is something an entire species never had Not even once in 300,000 years of trying. So no, you would not survive a single night as a Neanderthal. Not because you are weak, because you were never built for that kind of margin. You were built for the world that came after they lost theirs. The sun is gone. The temperature is dropping. But your light switch works, your walls keep the wind out, and somewhere behind you, a species that could not say the same is the reason you are here to notice the difference at all.